Hi everyone. Good morning. I want to go ahead and make us something that we like to have it at home here, and that is a country style breakfast. It comes from the idea that when we go to a breakfast place, there's always a skillet on the menu that has potatoes and vegetables and onions and a bunch of really good stuff in it, and then it comes with eggs. And I have taken that recipe or taken that idea and made it at home, and I want to show you how I make it. Again, the concept here is not that you don't know how to cook, but my concept is that if you were here, this is what I would cook for you. So hopefully it makes you hungry, and maybe it's an inspiration for you to make something a little bit different that you don't normally make. So I'm going to start with onions. We have, of course, potatoes. I have some peppers that we'll go ahead and use. I found in the refrigerator that I had some turkey sausage, and of course we'll have some eggs. So let me go ahead and chop all the stuff up, assemble it for us, and then we'll start cooking. I'll show you how I make it. Thanks. Okay, so the first thing we did was take a potato, about this size, makes about this much thin, small pieces of potato. What you want to do is cut it pretty small. You'll see that they're not very big. But go ahead and cut it as small as you can, or as small as you like. I know people will like sometimes a little thicker pieces. One of the things you want to think about when you're cutting the potato is that the thinner the slices, smaller the pieces, the faster it's going to cook. So depending on how hungry you are, if you want to wait, go ahead and wait. But I know that this is usually my family's usually waiting for food. Like, okay, where is it? So I cut it pretty small. Like I said, this is about one serving size because it's really about one potato. If you're trying to watch how much potatoes you're eating, use about half. All right, it's your choice. Thanks. So next thing up was onions. I wanted to show you about this much onion from a big onion. Cut a piece of it. Gives you about this much onion. Again, this is really just up to like measurements. It's up to how much onions you like or not. I do know that it's always better. The onions are going to cook down pretty fast, so I dice them, and I'm going to make the same size of the peppers because in your mouth you want to have this as you start eating this. You'll want to have the same flavor of the same amount of onion as well as it'll have peppers. I'll do the same thing for the sausage. The sausage will be cut the same way, about the same size, diced. So I'll dice the sausage, dice the onions, and dice the peppers. I'm going to add into it. Okay, and there we go. I cut up diced onions. I had red pepper, so I cut up a piece of red pepper, and also diced up the turkey sausage that I had. One of the things about the turkey sausage, it's already pre-cooked, so all I'm really doing when I'm putting it in the pan is warming it up. It'll start to cook in the potato mixture as well. But one of the reason I point that out is because if you are using fresh sausage, you have to make sure you cook it all the way through, right? It's not just heating it, but you have to cook that sausage all the way through. So onions, peppers, and sausage, we're all ready to go. So I have this. I put it in separate bowls because we're going to actually put the potatoes in first, let them start to cook the process. After they start cooking, because they are going to take a little bit longer to cook, then I'll go ahead and mix in all this other stuff. We're all ready to start going. Let's go ahead and we'll get these are potatoes, and these are the mixture of the three ingredients: the onions, peppers, and the sausage. So again, I'm using my copper pan. Using a skillet you want. Go ahead and put this on a medium high flame. What I like to do is start the pan heating up. And what I want to do is it starts heating up. I'll go ahead and use a little bit of olive oil, and I'll do a mixture of olive oil and vegetable oil. I'm also going to have to use a little bit of butter because the butter is actually going to help the browning process. So we want to brown things up. So I had it at medium high. I'll lower it down to just a little bit over medium. And I'm going to drop the potatoes in. If I waited a little longer, you would have heard some sizzle. But with the potatoes in, I want to go ahead and immediately start seasoning them. So I want to go ahead and add some salt to it. So go ahead and use a wooden spoon. And what I'm doing here is just kind of tossing them around, coating the potatoes to make sure they all have a little bit of oil on them. You can start hearing the sizzle on it going on now. So I'm going to let this cook down for a little bit. And by a little bit, I mean probably 2 minutes. And one of the things you start doing is not touching it. Because what's happening now is that the potatoes are going to get stuck to the pan a little bit. They'll get stuck to the pan, and it'll start creating that little brown paste to it. Okay, they've been cooking for a while. It's ready. I'm now ready to put in, and I'll put in the onions first. I like to let them get nice and caramelized a little bit. So I'll put them in a little bit, right on top, and then I'll go ahead and mix them up. As I'm going through with the wooden spoon, I can feel that some of the potatoes have already stuck, and then creating that nice browning on the potatoes themselves. There's going to be a lot of cooked potatoes. So I scrape it up, give different sizes of potatoes an opportunity to cook. Level it out. And at this point, I'll go ahead and add the peppers and the sausage. I'll be mixing it again in a minute, but right now what I want to do is just spread it out. Okay, so now it's been cooking for at least a minute and a half longer. I'm going to lower the flame to about medium, just a little bit past medium, a little bit smaller than medium. And you see that I've switched from a wooden spoon to a spatula. And what I'm going to do now is just, again, scrape from the bottom, flipping things over, because we're getting that nice browning underneath it. And now what I'm doing is creating a mound. Just get it flipped over, make sure we try to go around and get all the, so no pieces are left without being touched and flipped over. The potatoes themselves are cooking through. They were in there again, remember, they were in there first, so that was gives them a head start in the cooking process. Onions and peppers don't take as long, and the sausage is already pre-cooked. Again, if you're using sausage, what you want to do is, fresh sausage, what you want to do is put them in at the same time with potatoes, because what's going to happen is the potatoes and the sausage will cook together at the same time, and once that's done, then you add the onions and peppers in. I always want to cover it. Once I cover it, I'll go ahead and put it on low. And then it sit there for a little bit. I'll give it another minute. I just remembered that I forgot to add more salt and pepper. Potatoes will take up a lot of salt, so don't be skimpy on the salt. And then I also want to add some more pepper to it. Right now, I think you can hear the sizzling in the bottom happening. So go ahead and cover it. We'll give it another minute, and then we'll come back, move it around, and we'll put the eggs on top of it. And because this has a thick handle, what I like to do is kind of move it back and forth like this instead of the traditional that you see on TV, back and forth. This goes much faster for me. And what you're trying to do then again is just add as much foam as you can to the eggs. You're trying to put as much air in them. And if you remember, one of the things I like to say about eggs is if you're kind to them, you're going to be kind to you. So this is probably the roughest part I do for the eggs. Put that here in the sink. Okay. This has been cooking for about a minute and a half. After I covered it and put salt on it, I'm going to uncover it. See all the steam rise? I'm going to flip it around again. And these are almost ready. One of the things I like to do is to grab a little fork. And I'm testing one of the potatoes just to make sure they're soft enough. Okay, they're pretty good. Enough salt. Some of the salt leaches out of the sausage itself. So I'll move this over to the side of the pan itself. You'll see the potatoes, the sausage, and the peppers mixtures off to the side. And then this area here, this little area here, is where I'm going to put the eggs. Because what I like to do is go ahead and scramble them right in the same pan. I know that you can do it different ways, and most of the time we will see in the restaurants that will have the eggs right mixed in there, almost like a frittata. I will lower this to put this to low flame. But what I like to do is just have an egg on the side. It's just the way I like to eat it. And don't be concerned if it starts leaking into the other mixture, because it's all going to be cooked together. But I like to work this half pan and just kind of let the threads start happening within the scrambled egg. So again, we're on low flame, and what I'm doing is just moving the eggs around, because as I move it around, it starts getting thicker. And right behind my spatula, as I whip through, you'll see we start getting these threads, these really nice, soft, and almost silky threads of the scrambled eggs. I'll do this a little more, and then you'll see that they solidify. So as I've gone through now, they really have started to solidify, the eggs that is, and I can really start pulling them away from the barrier of the potatoes and sausage mixture. And they're really kind of creating a nice little mound for me. So this is 2 eggs. This is Joaquin's breakfast. I'll make Cindy's a little bit smaller. She certainly does not eat this much. So go ahead and flip this over. Kind of nice country, messy, scrambled eggs. Once it gets to about this point, you can see it here, there. See it there? That looks about right, about nice and even. And there you have it. This is country skillet breakfast. ready to go. And I'm sure he's hungry, so I'll go ahead and stop talking and feed it to him. Thanks for watching. Love you all. Bye-bye.